All right. Hello, good afternoon, everyone. This is Roshan, and we are about to get started here. Let's couple minutes to introduce our panelists. I already see Kenneth here, and we have Tucker.
Hello.
Look at the space
Better than
thing,
my living room.
that's always fancy. All right, Tucker, there you go. Awesome.
Hey Kenny, hey
Uh,
Roshan, how you doing?
Matt
Doing
is
well. How are you?
here.
Fantastic.
Perfect.
Good to see you again, Kenny.
Yeah, it's great seeing you too.
Twice in one day, I'm lucky.
I really enjoyed that open house bite-sized training webinar this morning. That was really cool.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for joining. Love to continue to have you on this. Super helpful. I think we've got some folks filtering in here, so maybe just give them a moment or two more. Hey, Matt.
Hi. There we go. Unmuted. Hey, guys. How are you?
Great. How are you?
Good.
Awesome.
I was glad it worked in the calendar so I could join here as well. I wasn't quite exactly sure what we were covering, but excited to help out and be involved in any way possible.
Sweet.
All right, I will take myself off of this and I will let Tucker run this, but I'll just do a quick intro and then, well, I see already folks are dialing in. Perfect. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Roshan, CEO and co-founder of InsuredMine. Thank you all for joining today. This is a webinar where we are going to talk about how InsuredMine and Hawksoft integration works, as well as what the best practices of bringing data on both sides, as well as talk about some of the uniqueness about each platform, why agents are successfully enjoying or leveraging these platforms beyond just the technology part, the human side of things, which has really been the forefront of both organizations, I think, and that is something we want to talk about. Without further ado, I want to quickly introduce our panelists here. We got Kenneth, we call him Kenny. Kenny, and you can see a wonderful virtual background for him on Hawksoft. So Kenny, why don't we get a quick word from you?
Sure. Hi, everybody. My name is Kenny Hendricks. I'm Hawksoft's Director of Partner Integration, and I've had the extreme pleasure of working with InsuredMine and the great team there as they developed integration against our partner API. Excited to be here.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Perfect. Thank you, and welcome, Kenny. And we have Tucker Hood, the man with the orange background, which is the theme of InsuredMine all the time. Uh, Welcome, Tucker, on the call, and why don't we hear a little bit about you?
Yeah, Roshan, thanks for the warm introduction. Kenny, Matt, great to have you here today. So I joined as head of sales of InsuredMine about 3 months ago. We've seen some really amazing growth alongside some tremendous partners like Hawksoft. So, as we dig into where we can help our customer base, Hawksoft has been a part of that conversation, and just excited to continue to deepen that partnership and solve problems for insurance folks as much as we can. So excited to dive into how we do that today.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, and then we got Matt Bauer. He has been, again, a wonderful partner with us, heading the strategic sales for Hawksoft, and been there for a while with Hawksoft. So why don't we hear a little bit about you, Matt?
Thank you, Roshan. Yeah, I was happy to join it today. Being the director of strategic accounts, always looking for great opportunities and love to continue to learn as you guys continue to innovate and add new things all the time. I love being a part of these different webinars and getting excited about what new features are available and how I can offer those up to some of our Hawksoft agencies. So thank you for having me.
No problem. Thank you. All right. I will let the reins in the hands of all three of you, and Tucker especially, to navigate this a little bit. But just wanna see, we got a pretty good audience here. I see several times Jonathan Webster joining. Well, they're using the same link actually. I see. All right, no problem. Guys, feel free to rename yourself. So, and I see some of the folks I can call in here. Brandon, from Hawksoft. So we see some known names here. Thank you guys for dialing in. I'll call out occasionally once in a while. I see Christy here, who are wonderful. All right, and Scott, wonderful customer of ours, and using Hawksoft, I think we will hear some more. But from here, Tucker, go ahead. It's your ship now. Navigate from here on, and feel free to share anything with the team.
Roshan, as always, thank you for the warm introduction, teeing everything up for us today. As we mentioned earlier, super excited to discuss the partnership with Hawksoft. So can everybody see my screen I just shared?
Yep.
Now, I'm not the best at design myself, so if these look like they were made by a third grader, I apologize there, but getting it better and better with our presentation. So, the whole point of today is to discuss the value prop between Hawksoft and InsuredMine. It is a very smart way to optimize and grow your agency. And what does that mean? That means that today there's a lot of problems going on with the current tech stack, with the way that folks manage their current book of business, the renewal process, their marketing, so on and so forth. And we want to speak to how we can be your partners as a two-system approach to all of that without going multiple systems, having the headaches of gaps in between those current systems. And we'll talk about why that matters. So, the two systems for winning and retaining business. We want to reduce duplication of efforts, which I think is happening a lot around InsurTech, and the integration that we've built between Hawksoft, which is a real-time sync. So the agenda today is to go into what is InsuredMine and Hawksoft. Why should we care? We'll talk a little bit about problems and solutions. What are agency owners, what are agency producers, what are agencies in general struggling with, and what are the solutions we can meet alongside that with. We will go into a bit of a InsuredMine and Hawksoft demo and kind of take a peek behind the curtains, open it up for Q&A, and then if there's any next steps, we can chat through that. We're also offering something special for anybody who's come to this webinar, so got to stick around for the whole thing to see that. That's how we trap you here, right? So, and thank you for laughing at my jokes. Anybody who's done that so far, really appreciate it. So a couple of things that should be top of mind for you, if you're running an agency today. How much am I converting of my opportunities? How much am I engaging either my current opportunities or my book of business? And how much of my client base am I retaining? So, the first thing that we want to think about is, are we setting goals around these things? Can we measure them? Do we understand what's going on within this? So absolutely something that we want to be keeping top of mind as we walk through the presentation today. So I think a lot of you on the phone call know what Hawksoft is. It's an agency management system to help you with policy management, to help you with commission management. Alongside that, InsuredMine is a fantastic add-on for your go-to-market efforts around that. So essentially a digital platform integrated that helps you with a few things, and I'll give you my world famous acronym here in a second. But with that, let's talk about some of the problems that we're hearing. So I have the pleasure of spending hours and hours every day with folks working at agencies trying to grow their business, and these are some of the problems that I hear. You may or may not be struggling with them. The first is a manual, unstructured process. Why is this important? Well, things are falling off the plate. We really don't understand what's in our current book of business. Thus, we can't build process around cross-sell, upsell, renewal. And to be honest, a lot of times we haven't had the tools to do this, so it's not our fault. Across all industries, I've been lucky to sell software for 6+ years into everything from nonprofit to Fortune 500 to insurance to life to medical. And we see this a lot. Sales and marketing automation and alignment can be very, very difficult. How you're managing your current pipeline can be very, very difficult, especially if all that data is not in one place and we can't see it. I think this is big as well in a lot of industries, but something that I hear in insurance specifically, my reporting, my data, my analytics, it's either very hard to see or very hard to make data-driven decisions around or automate off of. And the last is integration and efficiency with multiple software. So I've run into situations where I'm talking with an agency that might be using 7 or 8 different technologies alongside a Hawksoft, to do exactly what one platform like InsuredMine can do. With this, they're no longer creating silos, the double entry, which we talked about earlier, and just maximizing your current investments. With a very heavy tech stack like that, can be very cumbersome, not connected, and very expensive. Matt, Kenny, what am I missing there from problems that you're seeing across your customer base that you're helping solve?
I feel you've really hit the nail on the head. I think, especially in my position, what I look for are kind of force multipliers, things that an agency can deploy that will save them from having to go to like 4 different places. And I think something that I always see in InsuredMine is you guys are a dev first company, development first company, and you put everything that makes sense within the system to complement all of those features you have. And so it does address that problem where I see agencies, they might be trying out 4 different vendors or 5 different vendors to accomplish maybe one strategic sales initiative. And so that's definitely something that I see. Matt probably has a little bit more diverse perspective from the sales side.
Yeah, on the sales side, I definitely see the fact that agencies are wanting to make use of the information they already have in their management system, but they don't know how. And they quite frankly don't have time. And so that's where this automation, being able to get the data out of Hawksoft into a platform like InsuredMine, with all the tools you guys have, allowing them to make use of cross sells and things without having to do a ton of extra work on their side. So it's an exciting integration and platform to be working with.
Great thoughts, Kenny and Matt. Appreciate you. And I think they hit on a really big thing is how can I take my data and make the most out of it to help me grow. I think there's 2 sides of the business, right? It's how many new customers am I bringing in, how many am I renewing. Alongside that, there's some key components, but the whole idea is to allow you to make the most of what you have today, and make sure you're squeezing all the lemon juice, as Roshan would like to say, out of the lemon from your current book of business. So, as you think through this, there's a million things that you could do with Hawksoft and InsuredMine. Always important to think, where would I start today? I always encourage a crawl, walk, run. So, as we walk through things, don't feel like everything that I bring up is something that we have to do, but we can walk through things here. So the InsuredMine solution around Hawksoft is a 4-pronged approach. The first is sales, right? The second is engagement, which is a fancy word for marketing. The third is analytics, beautiful data reporting, and the last is mobility. So as we walk through things, I'd encourage you to keep that acronym in mind. If you remember one thing from today, other than Hawksoft is awesome, remember SEAM, and we can probably have learned something today. So on the sales side, thinking about how am I managing my current pipeline? Do I even understand what's in my current book of business as far as what I have the opportunity to close? For me, as not only a sales rep, but a sales leader, it's really important for me to understand, as a producer, if you will, what do I have coming down the funnel? What can I report up to say, hey, this is where I've got in certain stages. And then as a sales leader, hey, what opportunities do we have across our team? I think, just showing that and being able to understand that moves us way, way ahead and gives us opportunities to forecast, to roll up that data, to automate around that data. So we mentioned the deal board here. A task manager is another thing, right? As producers, as agency owners, as CSRs, we have a lot on our plate. What are those things that we need to make sure that we're doing every day, that we need to be accountable to and build process around? So some things to be thinking about there. Do we have all our contact data in one location? Can we see all pieces of information around a current opportunity in one place? These are the tools that we want to hand back to you on the sales side. The next part is engagement. Our head of marketing is on the call here, so hopefully I get this right, but we'll see. So the first part of that is email automation around different points of data that you already have today. So when you think about renewals in Hawksoft, you think about different cross-sell, upsell opportunities that you may have. You think about something as simple as a birth date, right? How are we using those to our advantage to stay in front of our clients at all times? That's a big thing that I hear. That's it's with sadness that I hear it from some agency owners, some producers. Is, hey, I just feel like I'm not staying in front of my customers, my clients, as much as I should be. Let's let the data do the work and the automation do the work for us. This can be texting, this can be email, this can be handwritten notes, this can be phone calls. And again, we're very busy. How are we managing this to make sure that we're doing it every time, every day? The last part of that is our mobile app, which is pretty sweet. It allows the insured to log in, to see their policy information, to update information. You know, a lot of times that can be solved outside of a phone call, which I'm sure agency owners get all the time around things that they could hopefully see in a mobile app. Last couple pieces here are analytics. So being able to see things like, you know, how many folks are renewing, what am I selling by carrier, what policies am I selling across different policy types like homeowner, auto, fire, whatever it may be. Can I track my sales team, their activities, what they've won each month, how they're performing against other folks, maybe why they're losing deals. All this should help me make data-driven decisions around my business to get better. And then, you know, really thinking about what those key KPIs are, which there's 1,000 of them, and this can actually help you build process around. These are really the things that I want to track to get started. You know, how can we help you with that? Again, with the crawl, walk, run scenario. We talked a little bit about that mobile app, being able to see policy information, being able to see different files that may be in there, update information as they would with the insured. So a lot to pick apart there. I know there's a lot of information. So would like to open it up. I don't know if any questions have been asked so far, but any questions on anything we've gone over so far?
Yeah, quick question here, Tucker, from Bill. Smooth data flow with fully mapped data information. So, Bill, anything you want to add to that, or are you interested to learn a little bit more about what data is being mapped between the two to the two systems? Feel free to dig deeper into it, or is all information moved to you? Yeah, good question. Kenny, do you want to take a little bit of that, and then I can dig
Yeah,
deeper if you want.
absolutely. So InsuredMine integrates with Hawksoft through our partner API, and the Hawksoft partner API is rather comprehensive in terms of client and policy information. So aspects of the overall client, you know, their contact information, their address, the different statuses and states that are in, if you're in Hawksoft, the top part of a client file. All of that information is sent over. And then at a policy level, I would say 99 out of 100 fields are in the API. The one major exception is certain accounting line items are not yet in the API because, as many Hawksoft customers know, we're currently rebuilding accounting for the cloud. So, and I would say that InsuredMine absolutely makes full use of every data point that has been demonstrated to be useful in their workflows. And whenever a new data point has been discovered that they could be utilizing, their development team has been very quick at implementing that point. So I would say, and I know Bill is a power user, and so he's very familiar with the extent of the system. I would say that there is a smooth transfer of every relevant data point that factors into an InsuredMine workflow at this point.
Kenny, the man, the myth, the legend, I appreciate that response. So yeah, the things that we're pulling over today are things like contact details, policy information, coverages, such as vehicle and house information. And that really is the data that you want to have in there for your go-to-market activities. You know, as Kenny mentioned, they're on a journey to the cloud. And, you know, with that, we will stay right in lockstep with Hawksoft to give you every possible integration and endpoint that we can as we try and deepen this partnership. So more to come there on more of a two-way integration down the line. Bill, did that help answer your question?
Nope, that's all. We have one more from Alex coming in. If a lead comes in through Google Forms landing page, how can we minimize double entry if it is only sent to InsuredMine first?
That's a fantastic question. And thanks, Bill. Glad we got that answered for you. So I'm actually going to lean on Kenny on this one. Would you recommend order of operations to send the lead to Hawksoft first, since then it goes from Hawksoft into InsuredMine?
That's a great question, and this is going to depend on each agency's workflow.
Yep.
I definitely know of agencies that they don't want prospects in Hawksoft because they get too many. They get too many leads, and they only want the qualified ones in Hawksoft. So in that case, I would say go to InsuredMine first. If you're running your sales campaigns and your prospect campaigns out of InsuredMine, great first place to start. If you are an agency that prefers to have everything inside Hawksoft, there are tools that exist where we could, where you can kind of port those leads into our system with kind of a semi-automatic process. And then the API would automatically transfer them to InsuredMine to reduce that double entry. It all depends on what the agency is what their flow is and what they would like. Ultimately, because Hawksoft is pursuing a two-way API that can read and write, ultimately it won't matter where you start. But right now it's kind of a philosophical question. Do you want those prospects in Hawksoft, or would you rather they stay in your sales system, and then when they are either more qualified leads or you've sold that business, then you can put them in Hawksoft to establish that client file. Hope that kind of, apologize for sitting on the fence on that answer, but that's kind of where we see agents taking it.
Well, to add to that as well, Kenny, you're exactly right. You're spot on. Each agency can be different, but just to make sure you guys understand, as far as duplicate entry, with the Hawks, if you do choose to have it go right into InsuredMine and get that customer from a prospect to a sold customer, bear in mind in Hawksoft, depending on what required fields you have set up, it might just be you put in a name, who the carrier is, and the policy number and line of business, and let the download fill the rest in. So even if you do have to do a little duplicate entry, we're talking 5 fields tops, and that should make it very quick. So either way you go, it'll be very easy.
Great points, guys. As with anything in software, it depends, and depending on your flow, we've had the same conversations around our our setup. Do we want all prospects in the CRM? Do we want all prospects in the AMS? Depending on kind of what you want and how you want to automate around that. I know for sure that when the lead comes into InsuredMine, whether that's from a Google form, well, really an InsuredMine form is what you would probably want to use, which we have in our platform, being zapped in or being pulled in from another source. That automation can start. It can create a deal card in the pipeline, a lot of which we'll go into here in InsuredMine in a second. Alex, hopefully that answers your question. Let me know if it did not. Anybody else? These are great thoughts.
Yeah, I think a follow-up question from Bill, and I think it's on the similar lines, which I think you guys already answered, but let me read that question is, so give an example of the first-time prospect contact, how the system will react. What will it do? We put everything in Hawksoft first. So you can just pull it, like how you are going from Hawksoft to InsuredMine. So if you want to give a quick scenario on that.
Sure. I'll take this one, I assume. If you enter the prospect into Hawksoft and you have already enabled integration with InsuredMine, that's all you have to do. Enter the prospect into Hawksoft. If you're using, a lead capture form that's set up to integrate with Hawksoft, maybe you double click the file, it populates the prospect, and then in the background, we upload it to Hawksoft Cloud and InsuredMine picks it up. If you're entering it manually, you do just what Matt outlined. You add in a new client, you put in the required information for your agency, and then again in the background, Hawksoft uploads it to Hawksoft Cloud, and InsuredMine picks up that new data point and puts it in the system, and then runs whatever automation processes are set up in InsuredMine. we're about to get into a demo, and I always say that kind of the worst thing about the partner API is how well it works without any direct interaction from a user, because it becomes very hard to articulate what's going on when I always say it's a rotisserie chicken. You set it and forget it. It just works. And I'll show you when we get into it. I'll be able to show you the data moving to kind of illustrate what I mean by it just happens in the background.
100%. And I believe Kenny was going to pull up the Hawksoft side. Kenny, if you need to restart, you can.
While we wait on him, I'll quickly run a quick poll. How many of you are using any CRM today? And we'll do it for a quick 10 seconds.
Can somebody hum the Jeopardy music for us? Roshan, you got that?
There you go, man. Next time. Awesome.
Nailed it.
The moment we hit at least 50% of the response, and we'll go there. Awesome.
Oh, cool. So this is working.
All right, I'll put this behind. It's on you now. Back to you, Kenny.
Thank you.
Awesome.
We'll go there, share that, and then go to where we want to be. Okay, can everyone see see Hawksoft right now? And I apologize, it's going to look really small. But so this is Hawksoft CMS. I imagine a lot of people are familiar with it. If you're not, this is Hawksoft today. We are working on Hawksoft 6, which is the next iteration of Hawksoft based in the cloud. So be excited, anticipate that. You know, what I want to show you just really quick is how easy it is to turn on an integration in Hawksoft. Now, I apologize, this is a test database, so you're going to see some junk in Marketplace. It's not going to be as clean as when you look at it normally. But when you want to set up an integration, these are the steps. In Hawksoft, you click on this gear icon, you go down to Marketplace, you click on Marketplace. There's a registration process to go through Marketplace. But once that's set up, you only have to do it the one time. The first step is enabling this feature called Hawksoft Data Sync. This is an agency saying that you would like us to mirror your agency data to Hawksoft Cloud. You know, for a Hawksoft agency, your data is still living in your server, or if you're a Hawksoft online customer, in one of the servers that our hosting partner keeps for you. But we're starting to copy that data, mirror it to Hawksoft Cloud, and keep a copy for integrations and other uses. So there's a accept button, you accept some terms and conditions, all very straightforward. As with all terms and conditions with Hawksoft, we do explicitly state that an agency owns their data still, doesn't change anything even though we're taking a copy of it. So you turn on data sync, and then you scroll down to find the listing you're looking for. Who knows how many NDAs I'm violating right now, but there we go. We get to InsuredMine. So you look at the listing, you confirm that you're a customer, and you click a button that says share data. I'm already sharing data with InsuredMine, so I don't have to click the sharing data, but that's it. And then on the InsuredMine side, you give them some information such as your agency ID, which you might know as your Hawksoft contract ID. You provide that and you're up and running. So then if we go back to Hawksoft, when we have a client, and this is all fake data. So when you have a client, are we still good? I heard a buzz. Okay. Can everyone still see my screen?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So in Hawksoft, let's say you need to update and reinstate this policy or renew this policy. Ignore all that. So we're going to make this an active policy. So we just did one button. We make sure everything's right. Maybe Mr. Field Senior retired. So we're going to stop him from being a main contact. And we're just going to promote up his son, who's now the main contact. We click finish, make a log note. So a change has been processed. This information is already accessible to InsuredMine after that change. If we look down here, there's this feature called the Hawksoft Cloud Manager running, and we can look at all fields. Their client ID is 450. So down here, we can see that the second I made that change, client file 450 was uploaded to Hawksoft Cloud, and it's now accessible in the InsuredMine system. That's the Hawksoft side. That's the straightforward. It all runs in the background. It's all automatic once you turn it on. We try to make it as effortless and as efficient as possible. Is there anything else that I could show in the Hawksoft side before we jump into InsuredMine?
I think that was pretty good on my side. I know Bill was kind of helping us lead things along, or anybody else. If you want to see anything else in Hawksoft, just let us know. If not, I'll take over on the InsuredMine side.
I think Carniel raised his hand. Carniel,
Yeah.
do you have any question? I'm happy to unmute you. Feel free to.
Thank you, Roshan. And you may get to this later, but what about the quoting integration with other platforms? Like I particularly have EasyLinks, and I've said this a number of times, but EasyLinks doesn't play with InsuredMine. At some point, I may get rid of them, but until then, I may have to use 3, and I'm wondering, will the benefit be there to get? I'm trying to get more information into InsuredMine.
Mm-hmm. So I guess it's not set up in my test database, but I can say that Hawksoft integrates with the EasyLinks rater. EasyLinks has a very particular way of doing business, and collaboration maybe isn't their strongest suit. So while we do have integration with their platform, the quality of that integration has been diminished over the years as they've changed their technology. It used to be that we could pass data back and forth between Hawksoft and EasyLinks, but I believe at the stage we're at in just their engagement with others in the industry, right now Hawksoft can only pass information to EasyLinks. But if you pass that information to EasyLinks for quoting, and then you know bind that business, the carrier download will come back and fill in Hawksoft. And in some cases, we can get a really supportive support rep at EasyLinks to turn two-way integration back on for us, because it's a switch at this point. But Hawksoft can do that. So in terms of building out your tech stack, Hawksoft and InsuredMine work really well together. Hawksoft can work with EasyLinks, and so that could complete your process. I hope that answers your question.
It does. Right now, you're saying EasyLinks doesn't play. It's a bit of a manual function to get all the information from EasyLinks, I guess is what we're saying still.
Yes, unfortunately.
Okay.
And it's hopefully, honestly, EasyLinks was recently acquired, and hopefully that acquisition will change their attitude towards integration. But for the meantime, we just have to we have to use what they allow us to at this stage.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Kenny, great answer. Carniel, a lot of great platforms out there, based on EasyLinks and the folks who have acquired them. I just will say it's probably going to be difficult to integrate those systems. There's a couple like PL Rater, Quote Rush, and the other folks that Hawksoft integrate with directly, that make the quoting all the way to binding process a lot easier. So, happy to go into that a little bit further. Carniel, I know you're looking for the best solutions out there with InsuredMine. So, happy to continue the conversation there. Continuing on from the wonderful demo that Kenny just gave us, I'll go ahead and start sharing my screen. So as Kenny mentioned, we turn on the marketplace within settings, then we import the data. The sync happens from Hawksoft to InsuredMine. This can import the data that's currently in to fill up what we're looking at right now. So you can either have a one-time daily sync, which happens every day at the same time, or I can always use the sync button at the top of InsuredMine to pull that data in real time. So, as Kenny showed you, there was some dummy data there. that dummy data or normal data can then pull into the InsuredMine platform into a certain place in my pipeline. So whether that's a customer that's already there or a policy has been issued, maybe they're dropping into a renewal pipeline, or a claim is starting to happen. Maybe they're dropping into a claim pipeline, or focusing on kind of that new business, or in the middle of training, but this could be a new business pipeline where all folks are starting to live that I have opportunities to close business with. So whether it's a form from a website, going back to our question earlier, it's somewhere through Facebook, or somewhere where we're zapping the data in, or it's been created in Hawksoft. We now have this, what we call deal card, which, to take a step back, is an opportunity to close or renew business or help move them through a certain funnel that we've created. So at the top, I'm able to see who's here, if it's an account or an individual based on, personal or commercial, and you can name these whatever you want. They've then dropped into the prospect stage. At that point, a couple of things are where the true magic happens. One, I'm able to see all the leads in one place, or all the folks in a certain stage of renewal. If there's been a quote put out, I can see that in one place as well. And then automation can happen based on the fact that they're in a certain stage. So I know when a prospect comes in, it's very important for me to communicate with them quickly. So you could set up an automation here that when they come in, maybe it's a prospect, say, welcome. Maybe it's after a deal is won, or you've generated a quote. These are not populated in my demo environment, so I apologize, but all these to set up automation around different stages. So now we're starting to quantify and understand our book of business, and we're starting to automate around that. Let's say I was to move this awesome prospect, Nelson Mandela, to a new stage. From there, I can start a different automation process based on the fact that they're in the generate quote stage. Right now, I'm looking at things from an agent perspective. If I did want to view them from an admin perspective, I could, meaning that I can see different data across my book of business, whether I'm a manager at a certain branch or an agency owner, seeing this, across multiple branches, multiple people, all in one place. If I do want to add a deal in here from scratch, I could do that if it's not pulling from Hawksoft, from a form, from a Zap, wherever that may be. At that point, digging a layer deeper, I may want to see exactly what's going on with this card. So whether you're using our tools for outbound automation, meaning email, phone calls, SMS texting, or you're integrated with one of our solutions providers like Twilio, Sly Broadcast, Lightspeed Voice, Ring Central, that communication can be done from this platform. So whether it's being automated out through a drip campaign, which we kind of went into a little bit here, or I'm doing that one by one, where I'm making a call. If there's a phone number in there, I'm sending a text message, whatever that may be. It's then putting that in one place, showing me a timeline of everything that I've done, organizing that so I can see that all in one location. We mentioned, pulling in some of that quote data from Hawksoft, policy informations, coverages, vehicle, house. That's going to start to pull here. If we've got multiple quotes, I'll be able to see that. Maybe we have certain checklist items. I know that these 7 things need to get done before we close a deal, before they move to a new stage in the pipeline. We want to make sure we're hitting that on every time. If I wanted to tag in one of my friends, I know that sales is a team sport. I can do that here, or even tag somebody in a note by tagging them with their name. Please attach cord forms. They then get a notification in the application and get an email saying somebody needs some help. There was existing policy information, or really any custom fields, any set of data that you're trying to keep track of that you're not seeing here. We can build that all into one place.
Tucker, a couple of quick questions, if you may.
Yes, please.
One is from Chris. I'm starting from the bottom here. Chris says, does it integrate with PL Rater?
Fantastic question. So yes, it does integrate with PL Rater. So what you would want to do is have a PL Rater form, which we have a fantastic template for, where that information could start. That kicks to PL Rater. And then that process can create a deal card, drop the quote into InsuredMine, and then again, you can automate process around that. So your rep who may be sleeping when the quote comes in is still sending out an email, text in real time. You're getting all that data in one place.
Awesome, thank you. Next one is, so first contact, can it send a text? So it obviously a deal came in as a through Facebook, through Zapier, through forms, through website, anywhere. It came and became a deal card and also created a contact now. Now, where is the magic? Where is this automation?
Bill's our guy today. He's hunting for the magic everywhere, and that's a really good tee up, Bill. I appreciate it. So, we mentioned a couple ways that we can automate today by deal stage. So yes, the first communication can be a text going out based on the fact that they've dropped into a certain place in my pipeline. Or let's say around that, we want to run campaigns around different lists that we have, different triggers that we have in the system, or I want to just simply start a new campaign with maybe a list that I've acquired or bought. A number of ways that I can do that. But let's talk about some of the things that are already set up. I'm a lazy person, so I like help wherever I can get it, especially as it relates to automation. So let's say it's welcoming a new client, or it's a new prospect that's coming in. Maybe it's a cross-sell, upsell opportunity that you have. It's an X date coming up. All of these I can start to enroll people in immediately. Or maybe I want to create some custom automation. So it's a new opportunity for me. I want to, when they come in, use texting, emailing, handwritten notes, and texts and tasks to make sure I'm staying on top of this prospect. They feel all warm and cuddly when I start to reach out to them, right? So day one, I want to be a text message, and it's going to be, hey, I'm actually going to be savvy here and use one of our tags. Hey, first name, Bill from Acme Insurance, got your request for a quote, excited to dive in. And maybe down below you include your InsuredMine calendar link where they can schedule a brief consultation with you right there in the text. After that, maybe the same day or at a different time, I'm sending an email. From there, I can start to build out my automation as I see fit. So we have a number of templates for that today. For emails, for text messages that I can use, and again, can be around a number of triggers that I've got, whether that's a birthday, it's a renewal date, so on and so forth. A ton that you can do there. Great question,
Awesome.
Bill.
Awesome. All right, we got a couple more on the chat here. So one is, does the text go out from the agency phone number or a created number for texting?
That is a wonderful question. Sorry, plugging in my.
Kenny Moore.
So really just depends on what provider you're using today for that. We integrate with a number of them today, whether it's RingCentral, Twilio, it is Slide Broadcast, and Lightspeed Voice. You can use our platform for that if you want. We integrate fully with Twilio. So really just depends on who your provider is today. If it's one of those, we can help.
So basically most of the numbers are possible to, I would not say migrate, but usually you can use that number for your phone, but also use that for texting through InsuredMine. And all your texting can be like your email inbox can be your text inbox, where you can see all the sequence of customer 1, customer 2, customer 3, and all text in one place. And then you would see for each customer within their 360, all the text out there. So it's 10 different ways how you will be able to slice and dice that texting. Awesome. All right. Moving on to the next question was, which I think Kenny already answered, was from Scott. Any plans to integrate with Canopy Connect? Anything, Kenny, you want to add to that?
Yeah. So, it's always, I apologize, it's always the answer I kind of have to give. A lot of conversations are covered by non-disclosure agreements. However, I can say that we have one with Canopy Connect, and that probably suggests where we're at with that.
Awesome.
Yeah, and they're doing a lot for Hawksoft. Customers have done a lot of webinars, so.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Back to Kenny's question about what about texting with the Hawksoft text system. So let me open this up, Kenny. and
Mhm.
this is a good three-way collaboration question, is between Hawksoft, InsuredMine, and agencies. How do you see where customers should be using Hawksoft texting versus InsuredMine?
Yeah, that's an excellent question. So at our stage right now, Hawksoft doesn't have automated workflows with our text messaging. It's a manual process. You send those out. That isn't to say that we're not working on automated workflows for texting. I think it all boils down to where are you sending your communications from? If you're using InsuredMine's texting components, I don't necessarily know if you would want to turn on Hawksofts. And if you're not using them, then maybe you do want to use Hawksoft because Hawksoft text messaging,
Exists. Yeah.
it exists and it's included for a nominal fee. So that's a good question. Our desire going forward, our backend is bandwidth, which I believe is slightly different from InsuredMine. So that makes things a little bit more complicated. When Hawksoft is done migrating to the cloud, we might have more room to address integrations at this level where there are complementary systems that exist between two partners, and how we can fuse them together. We're just not at that stage. So much like that decision of where does a prospect go, I think it's based agency by agency. Which one are you getting the most use out of, and which one can add the most efficiencies to your agency? So if you're using a lot of automated texting out of InsuredMine, maybe Hawksoft text messaging would complicate things too much and you don't necessarily need to use it. If you're not leveraging that a lot and you're just maybe sending 1 or 2 texts a month to a customer to check in on them or get a bill paid, Hawksoft text messaging is there.
Yep, perfect. Now this is good to know. Jonathan's question is, does texting integrate with Hawksoft texting messaging? Well, I would put it in a different way, Jonathan. If the idea is today the message is not going back to Hawksoft, but once that two-way integration is turned on, then basically every communication that is happening. So there is, I would say that there will be a placeholder in Hawksoft, and we'll be able to feed using InsuredMine texting into Hawksoft as a place to record. Fair enough, Kenny?
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. So these are good questions. So I want to just bring up Matt on this, just to ask one broader question. You know, when you are talking to agencies who are potentially thinking about, getting Hawksoft, and obviously they're using some other agency management system, what is that gap or the pain that you all present today? And because it is technology, but also it is beyond technology.
Correct. Yeah, I think that the biggest pain I see when I talk to agencies, when they already have another management system and they're looking at a new one, it is usually their current system either A, is too cumbersome to just do the basic simplest items that the agency requires, and B, the most important thing why we're all here is they don't have the ability to have this kind of integration with vendors, like InsuredMine, to give the agency the option of taking the information from their management system and get it into other systems that can, do more with it. We know we can't build everything, and we don't want to. We want to partner with people like InsuredMine that you guys do this really, really well, and then that way we, it's a good, well-rounded solution for the agency. So that's usually the biggest. Those two are the biggest pain points. Sometimes price is out there, but at the end of the day, that core functionality of the agency is important to them.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing that.
And I would agree. I think, we don't have any intention to be Hawksoft. I think Hawksoft does what they do very, very well. We do what we do very, very well. And with that 1-2 punch, we're able to be the Kobe and Shaq of the insurance industry together. So, or whoever your favorite duo is. I might have just made somebody mad out there, but that's all right.
Works for us.
And yeah, so I think, your policy management, your commission management, that's where Hawksoft really shines. Now your go-to-market activities through pipeline management, automation, emails, texts, we've sussed out some of those opportunities during that. I think another great place to lean on InsuredMine is using the Hawksoft data, but understanding things from an analytics and reporting aspect through the InsuredMine platform. So, seeing in real time my active accounts, my premium, seeing how I'm writing by policies of lines of business. Do I really understand what my data is telling me? If I know 41% of my business is auto, I should be targeting auto a lot more. Maybe that's telling me, hey, I'm not doing well in these other areas. What do I need help with? When are policies expiring? This isn't the most data-driven decision I would make, but hey, I'm probably taking a vacation here as opposed to over here. If I'm a sales rep, right? These are the things we want to be thinking of. Maybe I'm a large agency and I want to see my policy count by branch, how new policies are coming in over time. One of the things that is very surprising when we pull in data from other AMSs is maybe the data that's missing currently. So I don't have an email, I don't have a birthday, I don't have a text message. I can easily take a list of this if I was to click into it, all the folks missing a phone number, send them an email right away asking them for their phone number, and then update my CRM so that when automation is going out, that data is actually populated.
That is a really cool feature. That's awesome.
It's pretty sweet. We all know that our software is only as good as the data that's in there, so we want to keep it clean. Maybe you want to be able to track goal management in one place, see all your Google reviews in one place. There's a number here that maybe you're saying, wow, this is way too much data. You can have as little or as much of this in the platform. And again, maybe there's a couple pieces of data that we really want to hone in on. I was on a phone call with a really large agency. Just one of their divisions is 80 producers. And for Mark, the VP, he's like, if I can just see information on my renewals, how many I have coming up, what percentage I'm converting, what by producer and branch we're doing as far as success, that's a game changer for me. And for you it may be completely different, but thinking about that one point that can really help us grow is super important here. And then Hawksoft and InsuredMine should be able to get you there. With that being said, the only other couple things I'll mention as we're getting low on time here, you can track and see Google reviews from InsuredMine, build forms in InsuredMine. As I mentioned earlier, if you're using something like a Calendly or a Chili Piper to automate your scheduling, we can do that all here in one place. But with about 5 minutes left, I'd like to open it up. Any other questions, any other comments from anybody else would be great.
Yeah, there are a couple questions. While we ask those, I'll let others write theirs. We'll start with Bill again. So his question was, can we use the same text number in Hawksoft and InsuredMine?
I'm gonna go with no as like probably the honest answer. Because we use different backends, Twilio and Bandwidth they're going to be purchasing different blocks of numbers, and they would compete if Hawksoft, we recently released mainline texting, so an agency can use their business number for texting, but we have to do that with a form that grants Hawksoft permission to do that. And if you were trying to do it with InsuredMine, you have to get the exact same form filled out, and it just become a tug of war. So I think the straight direct answer is no.
Good. I like direct answers. Awesome. Moving on to the next one, Chris. Can you track policy reviews and get reports on who is completing with any upsell tract? So Google reviews, basically, are you talking about our policy review? You are looking at each policy, what data you want to track over there, right? So there is two different ways I would think that you can do that. You can track your policy review you can create a pipeline technically, and policy review most likely you would be doing in the last 60 days of policy coming for a renewal. So that's a good segue actually. I will answer that question through another answer. Does that make sense? Yes, I'll answer that through another answer. So another answer I was going for is renewal. Renewal is such an important thing, and it's such an important aspect of InsuredMine is, we are very heavily investing in renewals. Why? Because I think the more we can automate, we have seen how things have significantly changed for agencies who have paid a little bit more attention to renewals. Having said that, when one question we get from a small agency to a 100 user plus agency, which is, if you are a CRM, how are you better than other CRMs from insurance or outside insurance, Pipedrive or Salesforce or anything in between? And we say renewal is one area is which is a game changer for us, because the amount of automations we bring in, the amount of intelligence tracking we bring in, the amount how you are able to automate communications in that renewal pipeline is just mind-boggling. And happy to spend an hour just talking about renewal because it's that deep. Having said that, this takes you back to that previous question of tracking it. So this is where so what we have done, every policy literally gets automatically comes to this pipeline 60 days or 90 days before your renewal. If you do not work on them, they will automatically drop off on the day of expiration. But if you work on them based on the size of the premium, or based on the delta, if you need to on the premium change, if you need to remarket or something, you can then start working and move them to the different stages. But while you're doing that, you can track all the detail right here and then find opportunities, which means you can add more in each of them for upsell and cross-sell. So this is the place to be, Chris. This is a 200% amazing thing. You asked, at the end of the call, this is my best question, so far. I really like how far you're thinking on those.
So one of the things that and I know we've only got a couple minutes left, but one of the things I really like to promote is the ability to slice and dice your data. So I think that's really what you're asking for here, Chris. And let's say I want to look at all my active clients that are in a certain place, right? So maybe it's excluding a policy category, or it's including another policy category, right? And I can add as many filters to this as I want. Even by tags. So maybe a tag is they've done a policy review or they've not done a policy review, right? At that point, I'm quantifying an ecosystem of customer data that I can then track and automate around. So very easily, I can save this audience list. I can see everybody in it. I could send them a text, send them an email. So now within just a couple clicks, you noticed I haven't typed in anything there. I've now made that report happen. And as this report updates, so can my automation. So if I've built automation around this, sending emails, sending text messages, it's all happening as customer data is added from Hawksoft. So kind of wrapping up things here. I know we have about 1 minute left. I think the big focus is today is, InsuredMine plus Hawksoft is built purely for insurance. The folks on this call, this is what we eat, sleep, and breathe, just like the folks, listening today. The integration is best in class and getting better and better over time. 2 systems for winning and retaining business. And our goal is to reduce duplication of efforts. Gentlemen, before we let everybody go for the day, what else am I missing?
At Hawksoft, we talk a lot about the decisions on who we do business with, because I think that matters a lot. And the reality is there's probably an 80% feature overlap between any 2 systems that occupy the same vertical. I would certainly admit that about the Hawksoft management system. What really matters is that 20% that sets a system apart or sets a company apart. And I think that when folks are evaluating management systems or CRMs and sales and marketing automation platforms, looking at the company really matters. Because anyone can build features. The distinction of building them well, I think, is a different matter. But what really, at the end of the day, matters is who you do business with and who you make those decisions to do business with. Hawksoft is extremely fortunate that we have agencies that have been with us for our entire 26-year run, and most agencies stayed with us for an average of 18 years based on our retention. So we like to think that the way we approach business is what attracts our customers to us. And we try to replicate that when we make partnerships. And I can certainly say that we found a really good partner in InsuredMine. And I really have enjoyed working with them a lot. And so I think that customers would really benefit from giving them a look if you're not already using their system.
Awesome. All right. Last 30 seconds, Matt, anything before we wrap up here?
I appreciate the invite to be part of this, this webinar, guys. Thank you. You guys have been fantastic partners. Just excited about, this opportunity, and I continue every time. I just learned something new about the features you guys have even today. So that's why I was excited to be here, because you guys are continuing to be innovative.
All right.
Great job.
Thank you. Thanks, Matt. Thanks, Kenny, for coming in. Tucker, last word.
Hey, just very grateful to be on the webinar today, serving, I feel like an underserved population, which is insurance, that, we're here to help. We'll continue to grow with you, and thank you again for the time. Really appreciate it.
All right. Perfect. Thank you everyone for your time. We are recording this, so we will be sharing the link in case if you missed any part of it. And thank you everyone for joining. Take care.
Thank you.